science, technology, engineering, math, and making sure there's a firm and solid foundation through high schools, our community colleges and university systems, emphasizing those which will prepare our students for jobs of the 21st century. And also, getting Governor McCrory to do the right thing in terms of making sure, earlier this year, we did not, we reduced the coverage for unemployment insurance. North Carolina has the fourth highest unemployment rate in the country, and so we need to make sure that we're doing our best to help those who need help, and by making sure that government is a part of the equation.
Another issue that we may be facing in our community is crime. I know in Charlotte, Chief Monroe does an outstanding job. How do we handle that within the 12th district?
Well, listen, we got to find meaningful engagement and activities for our students and our kids, and we got to fund nonprofit organizations and giving them the resources to provide preventive services for our students. For an example, as a member of the Senate, I passed comprehensive gang legislation, which gave funds for organizations throughout the state to help kids stay away from gangs, and put tougher penalties in place for those who are recruiting our kids to be a part of gangs. So we got to find positive activities for our kids to engage and participate in. We got to help people find jobs. People are not breaking in cars or breaking in people's houses because they're doing it for the fun. They're doing it because they want the money, they want the resources. So we got to find people jobs, and we have to have a focus on when someone has made a mistake, like have gone to jail for some type of petty crime, and they've completed their sentence. That is not a lifetime sentence, that there's a second chance for these people to come back into our community and be productive citizens, and not saying you can't get a job because you got a criminal record, you can't get an apartment because you got a criminal record. That there has to be a second chance for these individuals to come back and be productive citizens, so they'll get away from gangs and get away from crime and crime-related activities simply because they can't get a job.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a big issue that we're facing. Individuals that's coming back from incarceration and they're having problems getting employment, and so that probably tends them to think about going back to doing the same type of crime that they do. But there is a chance.
I believe in second chance program. Now, obviously, if you commit a serious offense or felony, then the old saying, you do the crime, you got to pay the time,
Yes.
and the consequences that go along with that. But there's a number of other, what I call petty crimes, that students commit when they're young, or young adults commit, and then they pay their restitution, they serve their time, and then they come back into society, and they can't find a job because they have a criminal record. They can't even get an apartment. In some cases, it's kind of hard to even get into a public university if you have a criminal record. So we gotta be mindful of that. We have to work with people where they are. We have to punish those who commit crimes, and those who commit serious crimes need to be in jail. But those who come out and ready to be productive citizens, the society has to be willing to give these individuals a second chance so that they can be more productive in what they're doing.
Homelessness. That's another issue that we face in our community. How do we go about into solving that issue?
Well, I think we work with cities and counties. The city of Charlotte, and Greensboro, and others all have credible and viable outreach efforts to the homeless. Affordable housing has always been an issue that I've supported and work on. I was a part of, as a member of the City Council, transforming Belmont Piedmont Courts into Siegel Points, mixed-use development, and also supported single-room occupancy, where we built this facility that gave people an opportunity to move out of the shelters, off the streets, into a facility, and giving them the wraparound service necessary to be successful. So, I think I would love to go to Congress and work with the HUD, Housing Urban Development, and work on housing issues and how those issues affect homelessness across the 12th Congressional District.
Looking into the future, where do you see yourself at 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I see myself having served 5 consecutive terms in the U.S. Congress, um, about to resign after that length of service, and playing on the senior tennis circuit. How about that?
Come on, sir. President. I mean, that ever crosses your mind? I mean, because that's the biggest.
Well, no, I don't want to be president. I want to go to Congress, and I want to serve the people well for about 10 years, 5 terms. And there are a couple of things I want to do while I'm there and achieve. And once I get those things done, then it will be time to allow someone else to follow me. So I won't be there 20 years. I don't have any aspirations for any office higher than being a member of the United States Congress. And so I think 5 terms is enough. I'll probably term limit myself. And then by that time, I'll be ready seriously to play more tennis and less politics.
I know you talk a lot about tennis. What is it about tennis that you love the most?
I just love being out there on the island by myself, and it's where I go to clear my head, and it's where I go to release frustration on the ball. I love sweating. I'm from Charleston. We're both from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I love to get out there and get a good sweat, and I love competing against the other guy across the net. And if I win or lose, I know it's because what I did or what I didn't do. And there's no teammates. You're out there by yourself. There's no coaches. You got self-coaching. And so I just love all that about the game. And I played at a pretty high level. I played with Pete Sampras before. I played with Andre Agassi and Jim Courier when they were passing through Charlotte. And so I play at a pretty high level. And so I'm serious. I would love to, after 10 years in Congress, just be able to go around the Southeast and get a USTA ranking and play some senior tennis and kind of see the country that way.
I know you're a really religious individual. What is it about God that would make you feel so grateful?
Well, when I look at what I have, and I'm not rich, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a great wife, great kids, great friends, great quality of life, health and strength, and all that comes from him. And I remember when I was growing up in Charleston,
Yes,
and my mom was very religious. She was one of those ladies that she'd go to church on Sunday mornings, and she's in the church screaming, hollering, and shouting. And I remember I used to be so embarrassed watching that, and now I know, and now I know what the screaming and the shouting was all about, and I embrace her, love her to death. She passed away many years ago, but that was about her religious experience, and her religious experience was about making sure that her kids had a better quality of life than she did, and that she trusted in God enough that she knew that He would deliver that for us. I mean, so everything that I have done, the person who I am, is because of the prayers that she prayed for me.
Yes, sir.
And so, it's just, I don't wear it on my sleeve. It's just a part of who I am. And I know that there's something bigger than me controlling my destiny and my direction. And so I continue to trust in Him and rely on Him and believe in His Word. And if my mom was here and she could see what I've done and what I'm doing, she would be screaming, hollering up and down that church saying, "Thank you, Jesus." And I would be sitting there right behind her with the biggest smile, saying the same thing too.
What do you miss the most about your mother? Being with you?
It's just a conversation, and she wrote me a letter in 1986, the month before she passed, and I still have that letter. And so when I'm down or I need some encouragement or when I miss her voice, I just read the letter. And the letter says everything that that I need to know about in any circumstances I'm in. Take care of yourself. Trust in God. Believe in yourself. There's nothing that you can't do. I love you, and I miss you.
That individual, why do you feel that this carries on to you being a successful congressman?
Well, because I'm not really interested in the position. I want the job,
Yes, sir.
and I think my faith, my background, my commitment to community, my experience, all those things wrapped up in one has uniquely prepared me for this opportunity. And so now I just go out and do it. And I sell myself to this community based on my goals and my objectives. And, the future is unpredictable, but I do so forward in the faith that my objectives are sound, my means for achieving them are practical, and that God and man will assist all the way.
Senator, we see you in the community. Your face, you're always out there in different areas stuff. Why is that so important that you're visible to our community?
Well, because it's called being a representative, right? And so I'm not representing my views. I'm representing the views of the people. And so I got to be among the people to know what their concerns are. And so I will always be at a high school basketball game or a football game. Although my daughters have graduated, I'm still involved in kind of going there because that's where the people are. The grocery store, people stop me. The banks, people stop me. I go to a wide variety of community events, neighborhood meetings, public forums, because that's where the people are, and I want to hear from them directly what their dreams are, what their goals are, what their aspirations are for their community, and then as their elected official, I in turn take that information and then help put it into public policy. So you got to be accessible. You got to be a people person, right? You can't be a public official and don't come out in the public. I mean, so I just try to put myself in places where people are and try to interpret what I'm hearing from them. And people aren't shy. They would tell you exactly what's on their mind. And it's good for me too, because sometimes, they pat me on the back, and sometimes they say, hey, Malcolm, you said this and I don't agree with it, and here's the reason why. And I'll listen, and I might say, well, you got a point there, or I'll say, well, that's not true, and let me tell you what I really meant. Yes. I mean, so it's a way also to communicate directly with folks other than emails and letters. And you get a direct interaction with the community by just being out there and being very visible.
Senator, we're running out of time. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome.
I'll be back next week.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Malcolm Graham. Thank you for watching the show, and you be encouraged.